You're an excellent leader. Good evening and a warm welcome to all distinguished guests, parents, teachers, and students to the first virtual investiture ceremony at Indus International School, Hyderabad. My name is Agum Jain. I'm from grade 7, and I will be the host for the evening along with Moksha Dugirala from grade 7, Anya Garapati from grade 5, and Mahin Ram from grade 5. Before we begin the program, I would like to remind all our attendees to keep their microphones on mute and videos enabled at all given times. I also take this opportunity to welcome all viewers on YouTube too. This is an extraordinary year when the indomitable human spirit is being confronted by the challenges created due to the pandemic. As is the tradition at Indus, we would be having this celebration in the pristine campus. However, due to the pandemic, we have been propelled into the digital world, adapting to the new normal, and holding this virtual investiture ceremony. We begin the event on an auspicious note with the virtual lighting of the lamp, followed by Ganesh Vandana. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our Managing Director and CEO, Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, who has been our beacon of light at every step of our journey at Indus. General Ray's stellar journey inspires us to be better versions of ourselves, and his thought leadership guides us constantly to reinvent ourselves. Good evening, sir. It gives me immense joy to welcome the dynamic, inspiring, and dedicated principal of Indus Bangalore, Ms. Sarojini Rao. Good evening, ma'am. I also extend a warm welcome to our principal, Ms. Aparna Achanta, who in a short time has touched our lives in a special way and stimulated us to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, with a vast experience and wisdom attained by adapting to the Indus philosophy and vision. Good evening, ma'am. We're grateful today for the presence of our Vice Principal, Mr. Mohammad Rizwan, without whose unwavering support and guidance, this journey would not have been possible. Welcome, sir. I welcome Ms. Kinjal Dharod, who is attending this event on behalf of the park. She has always believed in giving constructive feedback and has been a great supporter of all school initiatives. We welcome you, ma'am.
The Investiture is a formal affirmation and a public recognition of the leadership qualities of the appointees. On their capable shoulders will rest various responsibilities. Responsibilities tempered with authority, designed to groom the appointees into competent and committed young men and women who will be an example for others to follow and make the school proud. An apt quote by Sri Rabindranath Tagore surmises the momentous occasion when our young eagles become the torch bearers of tomorrow and don the mantle of responsibility as members of the student council. Everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. At Indus, the investiture ceremony is not merely about presenting titles, but about conferring responsibilities to students, mentoring and empowering them to become leaders of tomorrow. Staying true to the Indus vision of creating global citizens and leaders of tomorrow, today's ceremony recognizes emerging leaders who are rooted in the traditional values of love, empathy, discipline, and respect, and are prepared to take on the challenges of the 21st century.
It is customary at Indus that we begin our investiture ceremony with Sri Rabindranath Tagore's poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear. It reflects not only the founding principles of our school, but also an abiding passion for the realization of great human ideals. This composition has therefore been aptly chosen as our invocation song. and will be rendered by Ahana Kriplani and Ria Rachel Mani.
Thank you, Ahana and Ria, for that melodious rendition. On behalf of the students and staff, I would like to place on record our gratitude to our Chief Mentor, CEO and MD of the Indus Trust, Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, for his continuous efforts in raising the bar and setting new benchmarks in our education journey. A soldier scholar of the Indian Army, General Ray has wide-ranging experience not only in conflict management, but is also deep-rooted with a passion for social transformation. He provides vision and strategic direction to all Indus international schools and institutions. the latest being the startup school, yet another moonshot idea from General Ray to us. It is the first of its kind in the world in K-12 education, where students are pursuing a twinning program in IB and innovation. This will further strengthen the innovation culture in the Indus group of institutions. IB World has acknowledged General Ray to be one of the 6 IB World school leaders for reimagining education and making high-quality education affordable to the underprivileged. Education World has awarded General Ray the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014. We request you, General Ray, to address the Student Council.
Mrs. Aparna Achanta, Mrs. Sarojini Rao, Principal of Indus Bangalore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the faculty, and our young leaders who are going to be part of the investiture this evening. I'm extremely thankful to the principal for having invited me to address the investiture. The investiture is not to be considered as a mere ritual. The investiture is also not to give you power, authority, or embellish your CV as a brownie point for college placements. The investiture signifies a grand opportunity to develop leadership competencies, to be more than average. In today's world, there is no space for an average guy. Keep that in mind. This new world of ours demands that you be unique, that you be an outlier, that you got signature strengths. So when I say Agam Jain, one word should come on the lips of every student as to what his identity is. His identity is not his name. His identity is what he does. It is to make a difference on the campus and beyond. And it is to be a role model to be able to inspire others to action. And in this context, I wish to state that raising funds, making apps, making websites is not action. In my view, my friends, the investiture is more important than the graduation of grade 12 from the school. Because the investiture, the students in the council there, we expect them to become leaders and innovators. In a world that is becoming increasingly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, creative leadership is the master competency. It is the competency to be future ready. Those who are not going to be creative, rather I will use the word innovative, because creativity and innovation, I'll come to that a little later, are quite different. Innovation starts with creativity, that's it. The creativity, if you are not a creative person, you will have no economic value or no political value. You will be consigned to what is called the useless class. If you have wealth, you will lose that wealth. If you have fame, you will lose that fame. And this is the important thing about the opportunity that is being given to you. It is therefore that at Indus we insist that leadership and innovation should be formally taught and practiced in schools like any other subject. And I want to underscore this particular aspect, that it has to be formally taught. You will recall the prophetic words of the Duke of Wellington after defeating Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo. And he said, the Battle of Waterloo was won on the playing fields of Eton. He attributed his victory to the values and to the leadership competencies that he and the fellow officers of his army, they learnt at Eton. And it is my firm conviction also that it is in the schools, only in the schools, that you will get the opportunity to practice and develop your leadership and entrepreneurship competencies experientially. This opportunity will not come in the companies you're going to serve in, it's not going to come in the colleges you're going to serve in, or whatever. And therefore, make full use of it. You may ask this question that why should we start leadership so early? That's a very good question. Ladies and gentlemen, the world couldn't care a damn about how many medals, how many 45s, how many 56 you got, how many honors you got, how many credentials you got. The world wants to know, what have you done with them? What have you done with your achievements and your qualifications? What has been the impact of your achievements while in school, while in college, and while in your career? In other words, what creative transformation did you bring about in other people first? And that is the question the head boy and the head girl and the entire council must reflect upon. And this is what I'm going to discuss with you when I next visit Hyderabad. How different are you today from what you were yesterday, from the last month, from the last year over there? While subject content can be memorized, and most students in our country do that, it takes years of practice to build values, competencies, talent, and a growth mindset. School curriculum must therefore refocus more on developing innovative competencies rather than just subject content. And I wish to underline that, unknown to most schools in our country, academic rigor has been redefined as academic excellence plus innovative competencies. And therefore, in practical terms, I would say it is the redefinition of holistic education. When we talk of holistic education, this is what it actually means in practical terms. The second reason why it should start seriously in schools is that in 1968, George Land was commissioned by NASA to evaluate the creative potential of scientists and engineers working there. And later on, George Land gave the same test to 1,600 children from age 3 to 18, as well as 280,000 adults at the age of 31. And the results from that study today, those profound results of George Land today, must ring a strong bell in our minds. Between the age of 3 and 5, 98% children are geniuses, creative geniuses, because creativity is in your genes. You're born. That is the nature of a child. But unfortunately, because of the nurturing that takes place in the school and life thereafter, that creativity starts to decline sharply. By the time you're age 10, from 98%, you drop to 30%. And by the time you graduate from school, it drops to 12%. And by the time you're an adult working somewhere in the promised land, it drops to 2%. What a shame. What an irony. A gift of God of 98%. We go through life having a 98% capability with 2% action capability. Nothing can be more worse and disgraceful than that. Schools and, I would say, students must therefore nurture this creativity. God has given you this creativity. If you don't nurture it, you will lose it. That's the message I want to send across. It's a joint responsibility, teachers' responsibility and students' responsibility. If we fail, we have failed you as children, and we have failed you as young adults. And the third, of course, is you start early because of the positive learning outcomes. I will only focus on two aspects. Those people who are creative, their life performance goes up. For example, a Harvard goal-setting survey revealed that only 3% in their MBA class of 1979, this is a very historic survey, had written goals and plans. Their performance in later life was unbelievable. They were earning, this 3% were earning 10 times more than all the 97% combined. And the next point about life performance is of creativity. Creativity is the use of original ideas to create a person, to create yourself, to create other people, to design the future of other people, to create a product, to create a process, to creatively solve problems that are difficult, that are wicked, that are challenging. But creativity is not an infinite resource. And like any other talent, if you don't practice a given talent, you simply lose it. I used to be in school a Rajasthan state player in table tennis. Today, I think I'll have to start right from scratch one to play table tennis. Therefore, coming back to my earlier theme, creativity has to be nurtured from an early stage continuously. Now, many of you people, or many of us, we talk of creativity. I think that is a very traditional, outdated word. We should now be talking of innovation. Creativity is getting creative ideas, which also are in great short supply. Let me tell you, ideas are in great short supply. That's the subject by itself. So we must know the difference between creativity and innovation. Creativity is to conceiving of new ideas, original ideas, alternatives and possibilities. Innovation is to convert those ideas into a reality, into a product. And to do that, you require companion skills and competencies. And the challenges we face today in developing these companion competencies, like risk-taking, like coping with failure, has a lot to do because of the overprotected lives you people lead at home and in the school and in our society. Very, very overprotected. Overprotected people cannot be innovative. There's no way, no chance. And therefore, we have to be very conscious about it, that we have to develop risk-taking. All these companion skills have to be nurtured and developed in the school itself, like risk-taking, coping with failure. And of course, too much focus on content knowledge. Content knowledge in today's world has lost its earlier value. Content knowledge is there on Google. I mean, you don't need to go to a school for content knowledge. You need to go to a school as to how to identify concepts, ideas, and principles in content and competencies to apply them to be innovative. And the last competency which you require to be an entrepreneur, to be an innovator, and to be happy is to have a higher purpose in life. A common question we always ask our children, and I'm sure your parents have also asked you this question, or possibly are still asking you this question, that what are you going to do, Arush, when you grow up? What do you want to do? He'll say, I want to be a businessman like you, daddy, rich. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a pilot. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. John Lennon, when he was 5 years old, he writes about this in some of his lectures. He says that when I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, the teacher asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. I wrote down happy. The teacher told me I didn't understand the assignment. And I told the teacher, Madam, you don't understand life. A 5-year-old girl, early learning center, pre-primary. Happiness is not an objective. It is the outcome of one's higher purpose when you reach out to other people. Now, there is a big confusion here, and I'm taking this opportunity to explain this to you. There is a difference between a purpose and a higher purpose. A purpose, for understanding purposes, we can say a personal purpose. This is your responsibility towards your passion, maybe painting, bird watching, biking, hiking, trekking, whatever. Your family, your near and dear ones, your community, and your religion. But your higher purpose goes beyond your self-interest. It is towards other people. The higher purpose helps you to give meaning to life, and that meaning to life and meaning to work gives you happiness. And in our Indus schools, you're aware of the fact that we start this exercise as early as age 3. The journey began age 3. And we say that because children understand concepts of life and spirituality more than adults, genetically, because they are more spiritual than adults. They have a greater moral imagination, a sense of right and wrong. They are more ethical than adults. I conducted an informal study in 2017 to try and identify the average age when great people in the last 2000 years, in all walks of life, obtained enlightenment or evolvement. The average was 27. And the lowest was age 8. And that proves the point which I'm trying to undergo today. We all ask this great question as to how do we find our purpose. It seems very enigmatic, very mumbo jumbo. Just ask yourself 3 questions. Answer them honestly by reflection and introspection. And slowly, the opaqueness in your mind will clear away. Now I want to ask Anya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
I am God. I
Yes.
come before you. And I ask you, what do you want? I will give you what you want. You tell me what you want. Tell me. Just say what you want. I'll give it to you.
I would
Yeah, go ahead. I'm God. I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you 3 wishes. Ask me whatever you want.
I would like a good future.
A good future. Can you be a little more specific? Say you want to be the CEO of Pepsi Cola, something like that. Am I right?
I would like, I'm not very sure of what I would want to do, but
No. What do you want to be? We will make it happen. You just dream, just make a wish.
I would want to become a designer.
Okay, this is a very simple thing. God, you should ask something big, isn't it? I am God, ask me something big. Designers is something which you can become on your own. I'll help you to become something which you can't do right now or never will be able to do. Ask me, what do you want? You want to be rich? Okay. How many billions of dollars do you want in your account? I'll give them to you. What more do you want? Where is she disappeared now?
Sorry?
Where have you gone? I can't find you. Yeah, there you are. What else do you want? Sindhuja, what is your wish list? 3 wishes I'll grant you.
Sir, like you said, to be happy.
You want to be happy. Okay, good. Very good. I want to be happy. Granted. Next wish.
To try my best to help others.
No, you don't bet. I will give it to you. You don't have to work for it. I'll give it to you.
To find my higher purpose.
Find your purpose. Okay. That is linked with happiness in any case. Yeah. That you can do on your own. You don't need God to do that. Where are the kids gone? We'll ask our MC, Moksha Dugirala. What do you want?
Sir, I would say that I wanted to be happy too.
Oh, don't repeat. Okay, granted. Happiness granted. 1 wish granted. Second wish.
I would want to help the underprivileged.
That you can do on your own. That the school takes you out on your CAS programs and all those things. You don't need God for that help. The important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we must have dreams. We must have aspirations. We must have a vision in life. But wanting something from life is not what is going to make you happy. Happiness comes when you answer the question, what is it that you will give to life? Question number 1. Agam Jain, what is it that you will give to life? What is it that bothers you, disturbs you, makes you angry, restless, frustrated, which you want to repair and fix in society? Which comes from a wellspring of empathy, from compassion, which makes you angry, which keeps you up all the night, that I cannot allow this thing to continue. What is it that makes you angry?
Sir, poverty.
Okay, what else? It will only make you angry if it gives you sleepless nights. When you wake up in the morning and your mother sees you with very sleepy eyes and she says, why, darling son, are you so sleepy? He says, Mummy, I'm very unhappy. There are too many poor people in the world. I must do something about them. How will you contribute your gift, your talent, your passion, and your interest to the world? Have you seen this movie Bucket List? If you haven't, you must see it. It's an Academy Award winner some many years back. Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. Both good friends suffering from some incurable disease. They decide to spend the last few years traveling the world, seeing the great wonders. When they come to the pyramids, sitting on the banks of the Nile, Morgan Freeman asks Jack Nicholson, or rather tells him, that there is a belief in the Egyptians that when your soul goes up after your death, the security staff, which is guarding heaven and hell, they'll ask you one question. Were you happy? Jack Nicholson replies, of course, very happy. A lot of money, good business, very happy. Nothing, yeah. He says, but Jack, that is not enough. There's a second question, follow-up question. Did you make other people happy? He says, no. Happiness comes when you make other people happy. And great leaders discover their higher purpose when they help other people to find their purpose. It is my job to help you, Agam Jain, to find your purpose. That is what is going to give me happiness. And not just me finding my purpose. I must help other people to find their purpose. If you can answer these three questions, however opaquely, however vaguely, you will see the sun rising in the dawn of purpose in your life. Finally, being the member of this council is the life opportunity. You got very little time. If you take out your holidays, you take out your exams, time, mocks, and summative assessments and school activities, there's very little time left to make a contribution. Therefore, I strongly recommend that you should take up at least 5 to 6 mega initiative projects. They must have, and these projects will be student-led. They must have a transformational impact on the campus, on the community, as well as the environment. This is the most cost-effective way to be future-ready. From the next year, the traditional school councils will cease to exist. They will be replaced by the Innovation Council. So when you go for your big job interview in Microsoft or Dell or IBM, wherever you go, when they see on your CV or Innovation Council, they will sit up and they will ask you a question. They'll say, Agam, you are the head boy of the Innovation Council. What innovation did you bring about? I am not interested in your 45 you got or 100 out of 100 in maths you got. I am interested in innovation. Today, 14% of school pass outs are getting 6-figure salaries in the top trillion-dollar companies today. They are not interested in college degrees. And therefore, the Innovation Council will be responsible for instituting the culture of innovation by design thinking. And the students will be selected for the innovative competencies or innovative potential. With that, I wish each one of you the very best of your tenureship. And may God be with you. And may you be with you. And remember one thing, that you are the most important person in your life, not your parents, not your God. Because you are a divine creature, God is within you. Aham Brahmasmi. The kingdom of God is already inside you. That is why you are number one. God is inside you already. You don't have to love anybody else. You got to love yourself first, not in a selfish way. Because when you change, the world around you will change. And your purpose should be to make that change. And your purpose should be to make other people happy, and in the process, be happy. Thank you very, very much, and Godspeed in your endeavors. I'll meet you on the campus and see what good work you are doing when I next visit Hyderabad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a motivating speech. I now take this opportunity to invite Mrs. Sarojini Rao to share her words of wisdom, which enabled IISB to sustain its top position since the last 9 years.
General Ray, Mrs. Aparna Chanta, parents, teachers, and dear students. Good evening to all of you. And congratulations to our young leaders who are waiting to be part of the Student Council, the Innovation Council very soon. My compliments also extend to your teachers and to your parents who have raised you with sound values, which will help you, not just this year, but in the years to come. We all know that leadership is not about position in the council or power. Even those who have not made it to the council are leaders in the making, are equally leaders in the making. I would say that leadership, many times we are told that, I've stood first in the class, I'm the best sportsman, I'm the best artist in the school or in the country many times. But that does not make you a leader at all. That does not make you a leader. That is still about yourself. And just to reiterate what General Ray just spoke a few seconds back, leadership is when you use the talent to pursue something that will benefit the others, that will transform you and transform others in the process. So this is not just about leadership, it is also about spirituality. So you evolve spiritually as a result of doing this. And this is possible only when we build, and it should start very early in life, right from your primary years. We have to build this competency of empathy, this core value of empathy and love in our students, and that is what Indus does. So empathy is about making you better listeners, better observers. It's making you situationally aware so that you are in a position to seize opportunities, identify problems, become risk takers, creative, innovative, optimists, and above all, more humane. Innovation Council is about that. So when you get the whole school to practice this, when you motivate the whole school to do this, that is the real test of your leadership. Your journey begins now. And I would like to tell you that this is going to be a very exciting journey. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. There will be instances when you may fail. You may feel bad about things that come your way, but I think that is also part of your learning, growing, and our process of nurturing you. So with these few words, here's wishing you all the best for a great journey ahead. Congratulations once again, and thank you for making me part of this, for this beautiful ceremony that we're going to see very soon.
Thank you, ma'am. I request our principal, Ms. Aparna Achanta, to address the leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you, Moksha. After speakers like General Ray and Mrs. Rao, I can probably only reiterate what have already been said by them. However, at the outset, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant General Urgent Ray, Mrs. Sarojini Rao, Mrs. Kinjal Dharo, parents, colleagues, and my dear young leaders, to this 12th investiture ceremony of Indus International School, Hyderabad. This year, the Student Council at Indus Hyderabad was deliberately chosen with a different ideology and a different purpose. You're all the new breed of students who have been exposed to two different thought experiments, innovation curriculum, and many of you are also from the startup school. On a different note, I have often wondered, when there are millions of books written on leadership and that many podcasts and workshops, why is there a dearth of leaders even now who can inspire a generation? Perhaps it is time we change the definition of leadership. It could be that our premiers, presidents, and our ministers are not change leaders. They are unable to understand that the youngsters, like all of you, are not looking up to them for inspiration, but at the Elon Musk's, Zuckerberg's as their heroes. Essentially, the innovators. But are they leaders? May not be. That's why probably the insecurity of being hacked. We then want a new animal who is an innovator, yet a leader, who is in the game of transformation and in coming up with creative solutions for their countrymen and the planet. All these heroes started a social revolution by looking at education for not seeking employment, but providing employment. They understood the need of their customers, empathized with them, pushed their boundaries, thought big, and went all out there. In the process, they failed, were shunned by the society, but eventually came out big and now are driving the new world economy. We want to instill these qualities in all of you by building an ecosystem, by giving these ample opportunities to develop them at school. At Indus, we also believe in change. The concept of leadership too has undergone a change. The disruption brought about by the pandemic has shown that the turn of the century will require these kind of leaders. These leaders also need to be self-aware of their inner world and seek higher purpose by helping others to find their purpose. We at Indus want to hand over the planet and the world to youngsters who look beyond themselves, are situationally aware, and behave responsibly towards the earth at all given times. We are sincerely trying to develop a designer's mind in each one of you, so that you look at the world through a different lens, where there can be only sustainable solutions to the problems. The design thinking process in your innovation curriculum sessions is one such endeavor, which probably simplifies the whole process of innovation. We want to equip you all, not with the skills, but innovative and entrepreneurial competencies like collaboration, risk-taking, experimentation, creative confidence, resilience, and above all, anti-fragility to bounce back so that you can reinvent yourselves every time there is a disruption. After all, in the VUCA world, nothing is permanent. Definitely not the careers that you think are looking lucrative right now. I take this opportunity to congratulate each one of you and your parents and teachers who will be part of this journey. You are the hope of this country. As informed to all of you by General Ray, this is the last student council, and henceforth we will be calling our school council as Innovation Council. And in this game, we can have leaders from any age or grade. A confirmation of this is the young innovation leaders who are the masters of the ceremony today, from PYP to MYP, and leading it with the newfound creative confidence. Take your role seriously, my dear students, and be the role models of change and behave responsibly towards environment, your classmates, and in every walk of life. Set high standards for yourself and the council and pursue excellence, and success will follow. Good luck to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, the investiture ceremony begins.
We at IISH have always believed that parents are one of the most important stakeholders in molding the future of the children. This is even more applicable in today's challenging times where the parents have donned the mantle of being educators and are in a well thought out partnership with the school in shaping the lives of these young adults. Acknowledging the enormous contribution and active participation of parents in this journey, it is but natural that we invite the proud parents to confer the appointments.
We will begin with the PYP house positions. We start with the Hercules house captain, Mokshada Suman Gundi. We invite Mrs. Reshma Gundi to join Mokshada and to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mrs. Gunti. We move to the Orion house captain, Nitya Reddy Molugu. We invite Mrs. Archana Molugu Reddy to join Nitya and to kindly do the honors.
Thank you, Mrs. Archana. Next, we have the Pegasus house captain, Muhammad Rehan. We invite Mrs. Nargesh Begum and Mr. Muhammad Rizwan to join Rehan to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mr. Rizwan. Next, we have the Phoenix house captain, Arnav Sikalwar. We invite Mrs. Shanti Mehra to join Arnav to kindly do the honors.
Thank you, Mrs. Mehra. Next, we have the Hercules House Activities Captain, Rohan Reddy. Now we invite Dr. Nayantara Reddy to join Rohan to kindly do the honors. Next, we have the Orion House Activities Captain, Aditi Reddy. We now invite Mr. Vivek Reddy to join Aditi to kindly do the honors.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Next, we have the Pegasus House Activities Captain, Isha Posham. We now invite Mr. Narsi Posham to join Isha to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mr. Posham. Next, we have the Phoenix House Activities Captain, Yathat Dorelia. We now invite Mrs. Shivani Giri to join Yathat to kindly do the honors.
Thank you, Mrs. Shivani. We now move on to the Senior Student School Council. The CAS captains this year are Harshita Reddy Suram, Prabhat Puli, Chandana Naineni, and Zahi Mazaruddin. We invite Mr. Venkateshwar Reddy to do the honors for CAS captain Harshita Reddy Suram. Thank you, Mr. Reddy. We invite Mr. Kishore Kumar Puli to do the honors for CAS captain Prabhat Puli. Thank you, Mr. Kishore. We now invite Mr. Sharan Naineni to do the honors for CAS captain Chandana Naineni. Thank you, Mr. Sharan. We now invite Mrs. Mehrat Sultana and Mr. Mohammad Mazaruddin to do the honors for CAS captain Zahi Mazaruddin.
Thank you, Mrs. and Mr. Mazaruddin. The activities captains this year are Ira Polam Reddy and Rohan Mova. We invite Mr. Siddharth Tumati to do the honors for activities captain Ira Polam Reddy. Thank you, Mr. Siddharth Tumati. We invite Ms. Charita Mova to do the honors for activities captain Rohan Mova.
Thank you, Ms. Charita. The school editor this year is Mridani Kashyap. We invite Mrs. Ekta Singh and Mr. Vagish Kumar to do the honors for the school editor Mridani Kashyap. Thank you, Mrs. Ekta and Mr. Vagish. The sports captains this year are Minsoi Chu and Savannah Rees Pinto. We invite Mrs. Kavita Agarwal and Mr. Adarsh Agarwal to do the honors for sports captain Minsoi Chu. Thank you, Mrs. and Mr. Agarwal. We invite Mrs. Lynette Mary Pinto and Mr. Avalon Cyril Pinto to do the honors for sports captain Savannah Pinto. Thank you, Mrs. and Mr. Pinto. The international students captain this year is Nahyun Ju. We invite Mr. Yong Do Ju to do the honors for the international students captain Nahyun Ju.
Thank you, Mr. Yong Duju. The Hercules House captain this year is Arush Kumbakan. We invite Mr. Vinayak Kumbakan to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mr. Vinayak. The Hercules House Activities Coordinator this year is Ashna Khubani. We invite Ms. Dia Khubani to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Ms. Dia.
The Orion House captain this year is Simridhi Ram. We invite Ms. Sushmita Mohanty and Mr. Rajit Ram to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mrs. Sushmita and Mr. Rajit. The Orion House Activities Coordinator this year is Umang Singhania. We invite Mrs. Kavita Agarwal and Mr. Adarsh Agarwal to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mrs. and Mr. Agarwal.
The Pegasus House captain for this year is Amy Rachel Clement. We invite Mrs. and Mr. Clement and Miss Ivy Michelle Clement to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Ms. Clement. The Pegasus House Activities Coordinator this year is Janvi Jain. We invite Mr. Dinesh Jain to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mr. Jain.
The Phoenix House captain for this year is Tanmay Grandisiri. We invite Mr. Suresh Grandisiri to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mr. Suresh. The Phoenix House Activities Coordinator this year is Pratik Reddy Sudhi. We invite Ms. Sunita Daida to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Ms. Sunita.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the school head boy and head girl. The school head boy this year is Krishnam Raju. We invite Mrs. Nilima Raju and Mr. Praveen Raju to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mrs. and Mr. Raju. The school head girl this year is Sindhuja Muppaneni. We invite Mrs. Swapna Lopelli and Mr. Kalyan Muppaneni to kindly do the honors. Thank you, Mrs. Swapna and Mr. Kalyan. We now have an element of surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, the scene for the investiture ceremony now shifts to the serene campus of school, where every voluntary is eagerly waiting to greet the young eagles. Our student leaders visited the campus and participated in the ceremony with all enthusiasm due for the occasion and, of course, safety protocols in place.
The Hercules House Captain this year is Arush Kumbhakaran. I now request Arush to kindly step forward. I request our Head of Senior School, Mr. Madhusudana Sonambla, to hand over the house flag to our House Captain.
What is our house?
Hercules!
What is our motto?
Invictus!
What does it mean?
Invincible!
Thank you, sir. The Orion House Captain this year is Simriddhi Ram. I request Simriddhi to kindly step forward. I request our Head of Senior School, Mr. Madhusudana Sinambla, to hand over the house flag to our House Captain.
What's our house?
Orion!
What's our motto?
Seconds!
What does it mean?
Second finger to none!
Thank you, sir. The Pegasus House Captain for this year is Amy Rachel Clement. I now request Amy to kindly step forward. I request our PYP coordinator, Ms. Sushmita Mohanty, to hand over the house flag to our House Captain.
What's our house?
Pegasus!
What's our motto?
Exemplar decimus!
What does it mean?
Lead by example!
Thank you, ma'am. The Phoenix House Captain for this year is Tanmay Grandhisiri. I now request Tanmay to kindly step forward. I request our PYP coordinator, Ms. Sushmita Mohanty, to hand over the house flag to our House Captain.
What's our house?
Phoenix!
What's our motto?
Transfer!
What does it mean?
Without fear!
Thank you, ma'am. The Indus baton symbolizes the character expected of the school head boy and head girl, nothing less than ramrod straight. I request our principal, Miss Aparna Achanta, to hand over the baton to our head boy, Krishnam Raju, and head girl, Sindhuja Mupineni. Thank you, ma'am. I request our head boy Krishnam Raju and head girl Sindhuja Mupineni to kindly step forward. I now request our principal, Ms. Aparna Achanta, to present the school flag to the head boy and head girl. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the drooping of the colors. Every heart beats true beneath the widespread wings of the Indus eagle, on the flag green and gold. Flags owe their origin to being a colored symbol or sign of a group or a clan. The Indus flag has been consecrated by priests of all faiths and is made on rare 175-gram Dupion silk from China and dyed in British racing green. Emblazoned in the center is the eagle with wings outstretched, representing the glory, free spirit, and the ability to soar and reach beyond one's grasp. To the left of the eagle are the four houses: Orion, Pegasus, Hercules, and Phoenix. And to the right, the core values: love, empathy, discipline, and respect. Clutched in the talons of the eagle are a bejeweled pen and brush, the most potent instruments of learning from time immemorial. Providing a stable base is the aptly inscription of the school motto, in omnia paratus, prepared for all challenges.
We will now have the oath-taking ceremony. I invite Ms. Aparna Achanta to administer the oath to the Student Council. I request the members of the Student Council to unmute themselves and repeat after Ms. Aparna.
We, the members of the Student Council,
The members of the Student Council
promise to fulfill our duties
promise to fulfill our duties
to the best of our ability,
to the best of our ability,
without fear
without fear
or favor,
or favor,
and in accordance
and in accordance
with the core values of Indus.
with the core values of Indus.
Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations to all the newly elected student council members. We now request our head girl, Sindhuja Mupineni, to share her thoughts on this occasion.
A very good evening to General Arjun Ray, Mrs. Sarojini Rao, Ms. Aparna Achanta, Mr. Rizwan, teachers, and fellow students. Firstly, I want to say I'm very grateful and to be trusted and given the opportunity to be the head girl this year. Indus has taught me more than what is written in textbooks. I believe the environment we're surrounded by can have a major influence on our life, and Indus played a huge part in mine by shaping me into who I am today. It has taught me how to deal with challenges that we will be met with in everyday life. It has also made me a better student, citizen, and overall a better person. Since 1.5 years, life changed for all of us, with physical school being replaced by online school. Learning online was a different ballgame with more emotional challenges than others. While it has posed each one of us with difficulties, I believe it would create those many opportunities as well. Opportunities to grow as individuals and as Indus Eagles, making the school flag flutter high. Joshua Marine once said, "Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful." I'm sure online school has taught us many lessons that offline schools could not, and has added to our character in ways we would have never thought. Last year, I had the fortune of being part of the startup school. My experiences at the startup school have helped me understand that the way of the future would be through constant adaptability to the changing external environment. It taught me to collaborate with my own friends at Indus Hyderabad and students across other Indus institutions. Time management using triaging helped to focus on my goals better. The business plan meetings with mentors were an eye-opener to students like me, as it has opened a plethora of career opportunities. The design thinking process and Tikkun Olam, which were part of the innovation curriculum last year, helped in activities of the HEAL project, an initiative by me and my sister, where one activity was where we supplied oxygen cylinders to the underprivileged during the second wave. I believe as human interaction is constantly creating challenges, innovation just might be the most important factor for survival. When Darwin's theory talks about survival of the fittest, probably true innovators who possess leadership competencies could be considered as the fittest. That is why I believe the Innovation Council would be the next big step while adapting to the VUCA world. While talking about change, the way each of us adapt to it can be different. However, coming together with others and making the best use of our collective resources might be the best option. It was once said, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. By being head girl, I hope to help students interact and collaborate with each other to build a community and learn from each other in this online environment. I'm sure that this would help support productive learning and problem solving, because we all are here to learn, to dream, to grow, and to contribute, because that is what makes our life worthwhile. The pandemic has helped us humans, known to be social animals, realize the importance of staying connected with others. It has given us the opportunity to care for others, to truly empathize, to listen, and to help. When we say life is a lesson, it means we learn how to live every day. Observing every experience of ours, happy or sad, can allow us to truly appreciate them. That is why giving ourselves time to reflect on how to make the best use of what we have is very important. I hope all the students of Indus recognize this and we grow as a community together by developing the core values of empathy, discipline, respect, and love. Before I end, I would like to thank the teachers for their constant support, and I hope we make you proud by reaching our potential in yet another academic year. The previous student council had done an incredible job, and as the last student council, I'm excited to start this journey with my fellow student council members. Thank you.
Thank you, Sindhuja. We now request our head boy, Krishnam Raju, to share his thoughts on this occasion.
I've been in Indus for over 12 years, more than twice the age of the school's youngest students, but this is just the beginning of my leadership experience and endeavors. Good evening to everyone present here. It's a pleasure and honor to stand before you as the head boy during this unprecedented year. While we can't experience the welcoming smell of the school campus or even the warmth of the sun on our back, I'll ensure that the school spirits stands high through these troubling times. I would like to appreciate the students for supporting me and the efforts of my teachers that laid the foundation for who I am today. I was once asked what makes Indus noteworthy when compared to other schools. The generic answer would be the horse riding field, the colossal buildings, or the fantastic staff. But the truth lies deeper. It's the passion and dedication among its school's leadership team, especially Lieutenant General Arjun Ray and his vision to prepare students for the post-pandemic world. This constant change is what keeps the light sparked and the eagle soaring higher and higher. During my time at Indus, I was fortunate enough to be offered the opportunity to experience the unique idea of the startup school. This solidified my belief system and empowered discretion in my life choices. The workshops on finding our purpose and the business idea meetings with my teammates helped me hone my skills in being persuasive and focused. Despite only experiencing it for a year, it imprinted leadership and organizational qualities that will help me on my road ahead. From the creation of a climate action project to the use of the design thinking process, I'm now able to empathize, create, and critically analyze in any situation. From aiming to reduce the school's carbon footprint and behaving responsibly towards the environment, as well as contributing to various school activities, all those movements played a major role in establishing my spot on the council. This is the last year for the Student Council, as this would henceforth be called the Innovation Council for my juniors, and I feel that it is apt as today's leaders need to be innovators. If you want a rainbow, you need to get through the rain first. Despite how tough times may seem, unity will empower us while division hinders our ability to perform. I need your support to bring out the best parts of ourselves and the school. We need unity. As Walt Disney once said, the way to get started is to quit speaking and begin doing. And on that note, I would like to end my address and resume my duty. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Krishna. Last year, we embarked on the journey of preparing our students to face uncertainties by fostering a culture of innovation and building their entrepreneurial mindset. The innovation curriculum was an outcome of this endeavor, and our innovation curriculum was the focus for an entire day of the week, that is Wednesday. Therefore, it was a very logical transition to shift from leadership to innovative leadership and gauge the progress of students in this area. To that end, this year onwards, we are phasing out the Student Council and introducing the Innovation Council. The main purpose of the Innovation Council is to cultivate a legacy of innovation by recognizing student leaders with an innovative mindset. May I request our Vice Principal, Mr. Rizwan, to introduce the Innovation Council.
Thank you, Moksha. General Ray, Mrs. Rao, Ms. Aparna, Ms. Kinjal, student council members, teachers, and parents. I wish you all a pleasant evening. The purpose of education at Indus is to ensure that our students are future ready, that is startup ready when they leave Indus. They are stepping into a world that is becoming more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous day by day. Humanity has seen tremendous progress in the last 260 years since the Industrial Revolution, but we had to pay a terrible price for this. Our world needs innovators more than traditional leaders to find solutions to the most significant and gravest crisis that human beings face, climate change. The leaders of tomorrow are those who will use their entrepreneurial competencies to make this world a better place for everyone to live. As part of our innovation curriculum last year, we focused on teaching design thinking to our students to find creative solutions to challenging and complex problems and develop an innovative mindset. We emphasized on deep reading to make our students critical thinkers, reflective, introspective, and situationally aware. We promoted a culture of experimentation to encourage our students to take risks and learn from the failures. And finally, we help them to become goal-minded through pursuing their academic goals and contribute to the community through personal goals, which emerged from the Technola. The members of our first Innovation Council were selected following a rigorous and democratic process. We used the Student Progressive Innovative Number, or SPIN score, which is calculated based on a student's pursuit of the personal vision, participation in research, experimentation and design thinking projects, contribution to climate action projects, and academic performance to select the Innovation Council members. Each chosen member of the council has been actively involved in community projects, steering the way and setting an example of selfless contribution to society. The primary role of the members of the Innovation Council this year is to engage in and lead the climate action projects program-wise. For the PYP students, the climate action project deals with afforestation. For grades 6 to 8, it is setting up a biodiversity campus in school. For grades 9 to 12, it is revival of lakes. Students have already started working on the climate action projects in the teacher advisor groups. We are overwhelmed by the response and the enthusiasm shown by our students in planning these projects. We do not doubt that our Innovation Council members will be climate literate and climate change ready and role model the change that they want to see in this world. After my speech, you will listen to the youngest and the eldest Innovation Council members and will be reassured that our world's future is in safe hands. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request our youngest Innovation Council member, Akshayani Patlola from grade 4, to speak about her learning through the innovation curriculum sessions.
Respected Sir General, Mrs. Rao, Mrs. Aparna, Mr. Rizwan and everyone present here today. I am truly honored to be here. I would be lying if I tell you that I am not nervous, but my excitement to be on this platform beats that. I was exuberant to know that I am part of the first ever Innovation Council. I am diligently spending some time every day to work on climate change. What I knew was too less compared to what the sea of information had to offer. The rapid changes in climate change and adverse impacts, also, may I say, irreversible impacts it's leaving on us and our environment, left me with a surge of emotions. I was confused, worried, and scared. I was curious to know more, as I was sure there has to be a solution to this. 25 years ago, the Earth Summit in Rio highlighted the need to change the way we treated our environment. This convention was adopted and a movement began. The Paris Agreement 2 years ago has garnered interest from 169 countries at record speed, urging us to move from an era of hope to the era of implementation. And yes, we need to act with urgency. I understood that we had to pick ourselves up and get our act right. We literally have no time to wait for a Messiah to come save the world. We are the Messiahs. I wondered what to do. I used a design thinking tool taught to us at school. Honestly, that has helped me subconsciously wade through a lot of simple but day-to-day situations I face. So, I decided to segregate at the various levels at which this can be tackled. 1. Home. 2. Community. Family and friends. 3. Local area. Colony. 4. City. 5. State. 6. Country. 7. Globally. We cannot wait for the rule makers to come forward with solutions for the problems we created. I started with my own family and home. Luckily, I belong to a family which relies on sustainable living. We, as a family, have always and consciously advocated measures such as no or least plastic, solar panels for the generation of electricity, zero wastage of power. My brother and I are the power police at home. We quite literally keep chasing every extra light that's turned on and not in use. We compose leftover food, vegetable, and fruit peels. We have been trying our hands on making bioenzymes with fruit peels. We have a person who collects our e-waste every once in 6 months. We sort our garbage. We have designated bins for every different type of waste. My brother and I don't even take printouts of everything given by our teachers. We go an extra mile and make notes. My brother and I have made conscious decisions not to eat meat. We both educate our staff and family at every given opportunity. How conscious living today allows us to have a better tomorrow, because every drop makes the ocean mighty. Meanwhile, with the help of my family, I would like to come up with community-level solutions, such as having plant a tree campaigns, growing food locally, sorting garbage consciously, encouraging reduce, reuse, recycle, plastic pickup drives. Globally, I have been working on starting my own blog and vlog called The Climate Conversation to encourage my peers on a world platform to be nature warriors. Someday, I wish to start a podcast to interact and interview influencers involved in various walks working towards world repair. After all, today's youth are tomorrow's leaders. I am more than proud of my school and General Ray for coming up with innovation curriculum. This is where all these thoughts have started taking shape. I am grateful to my teachers who have driven us to work on various junkyard models and paved way for sustainable change. Following my house motto, I will lead by example. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Akshayani. May I now request our Innovation Council member, Sheen Gupta from grade 11, to share her thoughts on the innovation curriculum and to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening to our CEO, General Arjun Ray, Principal of IISH Bangalore, Ms. Sarojini Rao, our principal, Ms. Aparna Chanta, our vice principal, Mr. Muhammad Rizwan, PAC chairperson, Ms. Kinjal Tharod, and all the members of the Indus family who took out time to be with us here today. It is truly a privilege for me to be a part of Indus Hyderabad's first Innovation Council, as I'm sure it is for all my fellow council members present here. It is not just a privilege because it provides us the opportunity to enhance our skills from leadership to innovation, but also because it pushes us to take meaningful actions to bring about change and contribute to making our community a more sustainable one. When we were first introduced to the Innovation Council, we were left to wonder what its purpose would be. But now, as I'm sure all students would agree, we've understood the need for there to be such a platform that fosters an innovative ecosystem across PYP, MYP, and DP and embodies the Indus philosophy. For us to find solutions to pressing problems that we notice around us and adapt to this VUCA plus world, innovation is indeed the cornerstone and the way ahead. We thank General Ray for imbibing this in the Indus community and working towards making each student startup ready, as I'm positive the Innovation Council will also do. Each of the Innovation Council members has taken an oath to be a change leader and to take action to not only reduce their carbon footprint, but also motivate the people around them to do the same. Because climate action, put simply, is the need of the present. This, again, is another step forward towards living up to Indus's vision of creating global citizens and leaders of tomorrow who think globally and act locally. The innovation curriculum classes conducted each week have extensively benefited me so far, as through design thinking and experimental projects, I have broadened my perspective, enhanced my critical thinking and problem-solving skills, as well as developed competencies that have been monumental in my subject areas. The Eagles Bulletin, our newspaper, is one such project that I initiated with the intention of increasing student situational awareness on matters of immense significance, such as climate change. I look forward to more such projects as part of the Innovation Council that will further allow me to develop innovative competencies. I can only hope that through my words, I was able to convey how much of a privilege it is to be a part of such an initiative that will inspire each member of the Indus community to act in line with Indus's vision. And I truly wish that each student strives to one day have the honor of being a part of the Indus Innovation Council. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul, making both the giver and the receiver happy. We express our deep sense of gratitude to our CEO, General Arjun Ray, Principal of Indus Bangalore, Ms. Sarojini Rao, our Principal, Ms. Aparna Chanta, our Vice Principal, Mr. Muhammad Rizwan, PAC Chairperson, Ms. Kinjal Tharod, our Activities Coordinator, Ms. Pooja Bhatija, and members of the leadership team. Mr. Madhusudana, Ms. Shweta Jolly, Ms. Sushmita Mohanty, Ms. Farida Fras, Mr. Karthik Mangu, Ms. Vishaka Labar, Ms. Shweta Kotapalli, Ms. Sumana Barua, and Ms. Rishu Talwar. A special thanks to Mr. Samuel Joseph and team, Mr. Sareen Kumar, Mr. Biju Mani and team, Mr. Sai Babu and team, Mr. Shravan and the ICT team, and Ms. Eva Sheila. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Major Aman and his admin team and Mr. Sandeep for helping coordinate the badge distribution. We thank Ms. Manju Ramchandran, Ms. Jaspreet Kaur, Ms. Pushpita Balakrishnan, Ms. Shweta Vij, and Ms. Shalaka Patkar for all their support in preparing the MCs and speakers. We also thank the MCs, Agam Jain, Moksha Dugirala, Mahin Ram, and Anya Garapati, along with Diya Madhusudan, Anisha Sultana, Ria Mani, and Ahana Kripalani for their contribution. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels started weeks ahead with planning and practicing. What you witnessed today was a hallmark of students embarking on the journey of being global leaders. Congratulations, students. Last, but certainly not the least, a special thanks to our parents for being part of our very first virtual student council Investiture ceremony. Your presence added immense value to the event. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sheen. I request the audience to rise for the school song followed by the Indian national anthem. Thank you, everyone. I wish everyone a relaxing weekend.